Welcome back to Hendo's Hot Topics, the podcast to distract your mind. Real people and their stories, raw and uncut.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to Hendo's Hot Topics. I hope you're doing well. Hope your weekend's good, and I hope you're loving yourself. So today we have a legend in the water in the lifeguarding community, on the rugby field and behind the bar. How's it going, brother? We got Kylan Dray.
Hey man, thanks for having me. It's been a long time. We've been trying to get together and just have a bit of a chat. So yeah, finally stoked that we can get it done.
Yeah. As I said to you before, bro, it's Kylan's my non-blood uncle. You know, he's been around my whole life. So putting this together, it was quite hard to put something serious together. Because like I said before, bro, all I remember from my childhood was just funny moments, man. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I want to ask you, bro, to start off as, in general, how are you doing, bro?
Pretty good, eh? Like, as far as just general life goes, pretty good. Got my son turned 4 today. That was pretty cool. And coming up on my 5th year wedding anniversary next week.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
So that's all good. And got a good circle of friends around me and stuff, which I've sort of had since I was 5. And just partially living the dream.
Man, bro. Now I want to get in, dive deep, bro. You're growing up. You know, what's your story, bro? What's your background?
Well, if we go right back, my biological father left when I was 1, and I never really knew him growing up. But I was very, very lucky that my mother shacked up with her old boyfriend that she was with before him.
Yeah.
So I've always had a father figure in my life that's been really positive and really supportive. And even though sometimes I feel like the black sheep, he's always been the one that's been there and just like pushing me to do better and be better and just sort of, be a good man. So grew up, lived out west since I was 3. Met 2 of my best friends when I was 5, and we're still friends to this day.
Yep.
Just sort of lived pretty ordinary life early on. We weren't overly wealthy or anything. My dad sort of worked part-time jobs where he could and that, and I wouldn't say we were poor, but we had a lot of spaghetti in a can and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But we still had a pretty happy life, you know. My brother and my sister and me, and then mum and dad living out west, and just did all the things normal kids do, you know, sort of mucked around and played. And then I got to, I think sort of everything sort of changed for me when I was 11. Went to the school swimming sports and didn't have any swimming lessons, didn't have anything like that, but dominated, just smoked everyone. And so my dad said, "Oh, you're going to be a swimmer now?" And I was like, stink. Because I was like, well, swimming sounds stink, you know, it's just like up and down and rah. And then I went to swimming, and turns out there's a lot of girls involved. All of a sudden, I wanted to be at swimming every single night. So I sort of got to that and got to like national level swimmer. Held a national record for 1 heat. Broke the national record on the 50 free, and then this guy come along the next day, the next heat straight after me, and beat it. So it was short glory, but that was good.
24 hours of your life.
Yeah. I was just like, oh man, that was cool.
Hours.
That was awesome. I was a winner for like that long, and now I'm just an ordinary guy. But I got to a point with swimming there, I just it got boring in that, and then I actually got involved in surf lifesaving, and that's when everything sort of went. Yeah.
What was because the surf lifesaving scene now is completely different, you know. So what was it like when you first joined?
Oh man, I'm not going to go into too much detail because I don't want to get anyone in trouble. But yeah, so I was 13 years old, and the guys in the club that were sort of running the club were a lot older than me. They were sort of like 20, 21, but they all knew that I was a swimmer, so they took me under their wing and were like, you know, come on man, let's get amongst it. So I was like, okay, cool. So I went up the first day with them. I was actually late home because, well, full disclosure, I'd been hanging around with a bad crew, and we started off taking a friend's mum's car for drives, and then they started turning up in other cars, and they're like, oh, this is the cousin's car, and this is the cousin's car, and I was like, okay, cool, let's go for a drive.
Yeah.
And then I started clicking on that they were stolen, and I was like, But when I was 13, I wanted to be the cool guys, and these guys are the dudes that I thought were cool. And I was like, okay, sweet, I'm going to hang with these guys, I'm going to be about that life. And started more and more sort of cars turning up that weren't ours, and I was sort of like, and then, yeah, luckily one day I was coming home late, and the older guys seen me, and they were like, hey, we're going out to patrol, you want to come? I was just like, yeah, okay, cool, man, sweet, let's go. So I go out there, and within half an hour, they're like, oh, there's someone in trouble over at O'Neill's. So I was like, okay, cool, what do we do? So they chucked me on the back of a quad and went over there, jumped in the water, absolutely no clue of what I was doing, no clue at all. Swam out there, got to the guy, swam back in. As we were coming back in, I was like, shit, there's rocks and stuff here, what are we going to do? Like, ended up just sort of putting myself in the way of the rocks to stop him from getting hit and stuff. Got grazed all to buggery, like I was cut to pieces and stuff. And one of the older guys, Henry, he goes, did you learn anything from that? I was like, yeah. If I'm hurt, I'm no good. And he's just like that. And that stuck with me forever. So from then on, I always just put the victims in the way. Use them as human shields, mate. I was just like, hey, let's go. Like, sorry, mate, but I need to be able to save you, so I'm going to use you to protect myself. But, but back then, the surf club, it was a whole different world, man. Like, there was very loose, like huge parties and stuff. Still a really high standard of life saving, but a lot more partying and stuff like that, and a very big social aspect. And as time's gone on with health and safety and just the way that the world is, that kind of side of life savings sort of fallen away a little bit. But I mean, it kind of needed to happen because we are there to save lives, and that's what we're about. So yeah, it was a lot different, but it was still very, very cool. And I've met so many lifelong friends. I mean, I met my wife through the surf club and that, and everything good that's happened to me has come from surf life saving and having that core group of friends around me to have my back no matter what.
How did you break out of that mindset, trying to be with the cool kids and trying to be noticed by them? How did you break out of that? Obviously you said you clicked onto it. Well, I remember, bro, especially being out west, you do want to be with the cool kids. It's how you fit in, so to say. So being that young, when that clicked with you, how did you go, okay, maybe these aren't the people I thought they were, and you found your other people?
Yeah. I think it was actually just being involved with the surf club and those older guys in the surf club, and realizing that, okay, hooting around in stolen cars, it's not cool, man. Going out to the beach and being a positive influence on the community, that's what's cool. You know what I mean? And even though a lot of the time you're wearing Speedos and when you're 13, doesn't always look that good, a pair of Speedos. But it was just that, and also my friends were like, my good friends that I'd sort of almost fallen away from, they were the ones that said, mate, like, what are you doing? Those guys are idiots. They're going to end up in jail, and I'm pretty sure 2 out of 3 of the guys I was hanging out with are. So yeah, I think just mostly those older guys saying to me, like, what you're doing is not cool, so come with us, we'll show you a different thing. You still have fun, you still have your parties, you still get loose. Bro. I think I was like 14 and someone gave me like weed spots for the first time, and I was just like, hey, hello hello little friend. And so I sort of thought, okay, sweet, so you can actually be a good member of the community but still have that fun on the side, and still, and that's sort of, that was where I was like, no, okay, that's not cool, that's cool.
Bro.
But that's, I mean, who's to define what cool is, really? You know what I mean? To one person it's cool, another person it's not. So yeah, it was just luck.
And that's I think that's really important, bro, especially with the life of social media now, is that a lot of the cool stuff that will end you up in jail and whatnot, people don't actually realize that until they end up in jail. Because it's it's the trendy thing to do, or everyone else is doing it, and they think it's just cool. And a lot of people, it's hard for them to break that mindset until they end up in hospital and their mums are crying, be like, what are you doing? Or they're in jail and their families are putting together that money to get them out, and they're like shit, what have I done? 24 hours ago I thought I was having fun when I was setting myself up for failure. So it is real powerful saying that, because a lot of people do turn to that, unfortunately, because they don't have those kind of role models and those older guys to be like, hey bro, get your head out of the gutter. yeah, you've had your fun, but you know, you can have fun with us. But like you said, be a positive person in the community.
Yep.
And that's why it's so important early on is just find those core people that you can do both with.
Yep.
You know, you can be safe, but you can make cool memories and
Yep.
not get into shit.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of like, you know, Bethel's Surf Club and then all the other surf clubs on the West Coast is that nothing really bad has ever happened to anybody at Bethel's Beach.
Yep.
No one's ever been attacked out there. No one's ever been hurt. No one's ever been sexually molested or raped or anything nasty like that. Like, it's always been a place where you can be a little bit younger, do the stuff that you might not be at home allowed to do, but you're completely safe.
Yeah, bro. Yep.
And that's the beauty of it. And that's why over the last 25-ish years, I've always thought, you know, taken the young guys aside and been like, hey man, like, you know, you could be epic. And if you keep going down this path, you know, you will feel good about yourself for the rest of your life because you will make a positive difference and you will save lives, which is just, it's an unreal feeling. It's actually quite hard to describe what it's like.
Well, I can vouch for that though. You know, growing up in that environment I guess the easy way to do it is it's one big adopted family. You know, you guys aren't related, but you bloody feel like it. You know.
Oh, exactly.
And for example, you know, like me and Toby Oldham, you know, we were the kids back then. You know, and we still stay in touch now, and it's still that sense of family.
Yeah, and she's out there kicking goals, mate. Her and her team are like repping New Zealand and stuff.
Man.
You know, you know, she comes from good rowing stock. You know, her dad Dave was one of my mentors growing up, and I was just like, man, this guy's got it going on. He's got cool cars, he's got all this stuff going on, and he's still out there patrolling hard and giving up his time to help the community and just help people and stuff. So yeah, it's really cool to be a part of because it's something that you can keep giving back and to other people and stuff, and keep teaching the younger people. You know, this is a good way to do things. And
man upstairs.
We're being watched now.
No, we'll dive into it a bit later on, bro. The current years in your current life now, bro. But I kind of want to focus on the earlier years because I think there's a lot of important messages and key moments in there, bro. You know, what was it for you that made you realize, okay, you know, this is what I want to do, and before you realize you've done it for the rest of your life? Because it's real easy to fall in love with something and then you find something else and you completely ditch it. You know what I mean? So how did you keep that with you?
If I'm honest, because I was very lucky that when I started, I got kind of like pushed up the ranks quite quickly because one of the other guys in ours was one of the regional lifeguards, and regional lifeguarding is professional where you get paid. So I was one of the youngest ever to become a regional lifeguard. I think I was 14 turning 15. Normally you're supposed to be 16, but he pushed me through, and I got to work with some of the absolute greats, like a bunch of the guys from Piha that people would have seen on Piha Rescue, Duncan Clark, a guy by the name of Heeg, who I still don't know why he's called Heeg. He's now, I think he's still like, he works for New Zealand and stuff like that, and I got to work with just some of the greats, and I was like, man, these guys are so mean. I want to get to the point where I'm that good. And so I just pretty much said, like, when I first started, I said, I've got a mission. I want to save 100 lives in my career. And I think I got there in like 2 years because I was working every summer. I was like, every single summer I was out there working because it gave me a sense of pride, and it gave me a sense of like, this is what I think I'm supposed to do. I'm not totally sure because I'm still a kid. But it felt to me like, you know, this is my calling. This is something that I'm good at and that I just love. And once again, there's heaps of girls.
I don't want to get too deep and serious with this question, but in the sense of, you know, being, I guess, essentially growing up a lot quicker than most 14, 15-year-olds do with what you did, bro. Did you ever, later on in your life, kind of think that, oh, maybe it was more of a making up for the mistakes you didn't realize you were making?
100%.
Yeah?
100%, totally. Yeah, man. Because even though, like, I wasn't the one that was actually stealing these cars, I was still a part of it.
Yeah, bro.
I was still in somebody else's property, taking stuff from other people, and I always thought growing up, okay, I need to atone for that. I need to, you know, I need to make up for that because that was shit. It was terrible doing that sort of stuff. So once I got into surf, I was just like, man, this is just, you know, this is for me.
Yeah, this is it, bro. This is it. a lot of the older people, I can guarantee, would have seen you on the old PRSU, and that takes me into my next topic, bro. Is the situations that you put yourself on the line for. There's I'm definitely sure there's been a lot of moments that have stayed with you, with some saves or saving people.
Yeah.
When you try, I guess you say, recover from those moments that stay with you, what's the process through that, bro?
So, the first time that we lost somebody was probably the hardest time in my life that's not personal.
Gotcha, yeah.
So, I had a lot of personal experiences coming up from when I was young that have stuck with me, based around suicide.
Yep.
I was 12 when my mother's best friend took her own life. I was 15 when the club captain of our surf club took his own life. And then I was 19 when my best friend's fiance took her own life.
Yep.
So I had 3 in the space of my teen years. When I was 12 at the first time, didn't know what it was about. Had no idea I was 12. I don't understand it. I don't think I ever will.
Someone passed away.
away.
Yeah.
When I was 15 and Patrick, our club captain, passed away, took his own life, devastated.
Yeah.
Devastated. That kid was the coolest guy in the world. Life of the party, always had a laugh, always had a smile. Everybody loved him. He was the club captain. I looked up to him. I'm like, that's going to be me one day. I'm going to be just like Patrick.
Yep.
And then he took his own life, and I just didn't even know what to think. I had no idea what to think. I was just stuck. I was like, what is going on? Managed to, with help from the older guys in the surf club, get a bit more understanding of why he did what he did,
Yep.
the pressure that he felt, and the sort of the depression that he was actually going through. Sort of got a bit more understanding, and was sort of like made peace with it somewhat.
Mm-mm.
And then before I really had a chance, my best friend's fiance did it. That, hands down, hardest thing I've ever been through. And it wasn't me directly involved, it was my best friend, but we're so tight, and we'd been so tight growing up that I felt like it was something that happened to me. I still remember this day getting the phone call first thing in the morning, running into my brother's room saying, she's passed away, I don't know what the story is, I'm going down to Joe's. And he's like, okay, I'm on my way. And he sort of, by the time he got up and got out, I had run out the house, and it's a 2, 3, maybe 4 minute drive down there. I'd already run down there, and I don't run for shit. I'm the world's worst runner. I had sprinted down there. I got down there, he was all bleeding and that. There was cops everywhere. I was just like shattered, and that has stuck with me forever. And so those sort of, in a way, those 3 incidents as a young guy has made it somewhat easier for me to deal with people passing away in general. And I got to say that when we've been on the beach, no one has ever passed away. I've never lost someone when I've been on the beach. But one time we were back at the club, it was 8 o'clock at night, we got a call, someone's just been dragged out of the water. We went down there, a massive koro, like huge dude, CPR for 45 minutes, 3 of us switching, going as hard as we could to where the paramedics turned up, defib on, he's gone. His whole family's sitting there watching. That process was a lot easier to deal with because of the trauma that we'd been through as earlier, but it still sucked.
Yeah.
Because you always feel, even though, like, because we went on the beach, we were way back at the surf club, and Bethel's, that it's not just a little car park to the beach. It's hike. A mission. It's a mission to get out there, and you got to move fast. So we know that we did everything we could, and having the knowledge that we did everything we could, and it was the paramedic said, mate, he was that big and he was that unfit that there was pretty much nothing you could have done. So you can process a lot easier when you get older, because you can actually go, all right, sweet, we did everything we could. There's nothing more we could have done. All right, sweet. Okay, let's grieve in our own way. Let's get together. We'll chat. We'll talk about it. We'll get through it together, because we're a team. And I've been real lucky because I've always had my brother.
Yeah, bro.
I've always had Mason involved, and me and him, we work really well together in that situation. And so it's just been like, all right, let's get everyone together. Everyone say how you're feeling. Make sure because some of the younger guys in the club, they were all about sort of 15, 16 at the time. I think I would older than maybe 22, 23. So I was a bit older. So the young guys were involved, and that was what I wanted to make sure is that, like, to teach them and to tell them that, like, we did everything we could. It's not our fault. We have to work through it together, and it's hard, but you sort of get, I don't want to say used to it, but you get better at dealing with it.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, so, and then other than that, there's been, I think, the Sunny Fi incident from the Warriors. That was hard to deal with because the media absolutely slayed us. The media just got false reports and they made us look like absolute shit. And I had a family meeting with his family, and the first thing they said to me is, "What happened? Why did this go wrong?" And I said blatantly, I said to them, because he was swimming 3 hours after we finished patrol, and he went straight into a rip. Admittedly, he was trying to save his little cousin, which he did, but the reason he got into trouble is because they all swam in the wrong place. So I'm sorry, but it wasn't us.
Yeah.
We weren't even here. I was at home. I was living in Glendina at the time. And so I literally got home, like 3 days of patrol. There was only about 6 of us because it was just after New Year's, 4th of January it was. Got home, got a call, someone's in trouble, straight back out there, searched and searched and searched, couldn't find him, never found him. No one ever did. Don't know where he went.
Yep.
That was hard to deal with because there was so much more spotlight on it. I spent 3 weeks, took 3 weeks off work every day. I was out there with the family searching, trying to find him. And then it happened again a few years later. There was a young kid named Zeke, I think, yeah. Once again, trying to save someone. Spent 2 weeks of my life trying to find him. Had his family out there, had everyone out there, just terrible. And then again a few years later, Johnny Faitua, same thing. Swimming after hours, swimming on a non-patrolled beach. Lost him. Ended up finding the body. But yeah, so I sort of, it kind of got, and I hate to say it like this, but it got easier as I got older.
Yeah, I know what you mean, bro.
Because I'd been through so much shit and I'd done all so much shit that, it sort of goes, all right, let's go. I do my job. I go out there and help. I do what I can. And then, a few days later, I just go, oh, man. And I'm an emotional guy, so I'll just cry it out.
Yep.
I don't give a shit, man. I'll cry it out. I don't care. If I feel like I need to cry, I'll cry.
Yep.
Simple as that. Because I'm not going to hold it in. Everyone knows that. It actually sucks because when I get really angry, like to the point of like anger,
yeah,
cry so much. It's unreal, man. So I'm sitting there going, I hate you. It's bizarre. But yeah, it's I've been real lucky as well that I've got such a good group of friends around me that I can always talk to them without a problem.
Yep.
And there's no judgment from us. We'll give each other shit and we'll go on each other, but yeah, I've been very lucky to be surrounded by a lot of good people, which I think is key to life. Make sure you've got good people around you that will support you, that will back you up, and also that will tell you to pull your head in, which my friends have done to me quite a few times because I lead it. I tend to get a little bit loose sometimes. But yeah, it's been a journey, and it's been a journey that I'm stoked on because the bad parts don't compare to how many good things have come from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like knowing your family, for one of it, knowing your mum, your sisters, your aunties. One of your aunties, I consider her to be one of my best female friends in the world. I love that girl. Like, she's my sister and stuff. And there's so many people in the surf club that are like that, and we are like a family, as you said earlier. We are 100% like a family, man. We just, we bicker like family. We get on each other's nerves, and generally it's me pissing people off. But at the end of the day, we always come back together, and we've got each other's backs. And I'm so grateful to have those people like your mum, your aunties, and all the other surf club ladies that know that I love like family. I'm just so grateful to have all those people around because, you need good people in your life.
Yeah, bro. And I think it's funny how the cycles continued. Like I guess I could say being surrounded by the younger surfies, and all the leaving parties, all the celebrations. It sets standards for me.
Yep.
In terms of who, the people I need to surround myself by. So then when I was I'd say even like 6 years ago, when I was put into the older world. You know, I knew the rough ones and the ones who were trouble. You know, I was respectful to them, and they were respectful to me. You know, and
Yep.
you know, kept them close, but you know, didn't hang out with them, all that kind of stuff. But I knew the people who, I guess you could say, the people I needed to value more. You know, I knew the people who would be able to have my back and would be able to have fun and have shits and giggles. And
Yep.
but when stuff was serious, it was serious.
Yeah.
And that was the greatest thing, especially in the last couple of years, that I realized growing up. And I tell people all the time, you know, I'd say all the stories of, there's I won't say it on here, but I'll tell you after, there's two particular celebrations when I was younger. And I remember being like, oh my God, being young, I'm like, this is what I want to be like when I was older. And then when I was older, you know, those good memories, you're like, crap, you know, this is what it feels like to have these kind of friends who, you know, you don't have to second guess or, you know, worry if they're chatting shit behind your back. You know, these are the people who are like your brothers and sisters.
Yeah, man.
And it's a different kind of feeling, bro. And why it's so powerful for you guys is once you find those people, life just becomes a hell of a lot easier. You know, especially when you're trying to find yourself and find your way in life. Oh yeah. Knowing you got people to back you up, and you know, they'll, like you said, they'll tell you when to pull your head out of the gutter and tell you when you're messing up, and you know, you need to sort your shit out. But also, like I said, that when it comes to the weekend, you guys can go and have a laugh and do it all again the next weekend. And you'll have arguments, but you, like you said, bro, you'll come back together, and that's the most beautiful thing in the world when you find those people. Yeah.
And not everyone's lucky enough to find people like that, and that's why sometimes they'll latch on to a different group thinking, okay, this is a group that I want to be a part of because it's really cool. And you know, sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not. So it's, I think once you find those good people in your life, just latch on, man, make them your family. Because that's the thing for me, I get very emotionally invested into people that I consider my friends, because obviously coming from a family where, you know, the blood relatives I have are like, oh man, what's that, a massive B or something? No, okay. There's like, I think I've got maybe 7 or 8 blood relatives that I know.
So like near to none.
Yeah, near to none, really, considering like your normal. So when I become friends with someone, man, I'm like all in. I'm like, okay, we're going to be the best of friends, and I'm going to have your back, and I'm going to love you, and I'm going to like do whatever I can to help you. And sometimes that's gone bad for me in the past, but majority of the times it's worked out really well, because as I said, like, I've got my core group of friends that I've been friends with since I was 5, and I'm still best friends with them to this day. And then I've got my surf club family, which is huge. You know, there's people from like Bethel's, there's people from Piha, Muriwai, Raglan. There's the Sunset crew that I'm not going to get into, but they are just hectic, just full noise, south side bloody farm boys that just, you know, go absolutely nuts, but just love them because they all, you know, we all got that shared interest of saving lives. Yeah, bro. And then I've got my Moisty brothers, so my rugby team, the Moisty Maulers, and we're tight as, like, I don't think there's another rugby team in the world that's as tight as we are. We've got a group chat that we pretty much talk every day. And one of the boys actually said last night, he just says, mate, I'm going through a rough time. I'm feeling like absolute shit. I'm not sleeping. I'm rah-rah-rah. And the response on that group chat was huge. You know, we love you. You're doing the best you can. That's all you need to be able to do. You know, don't worry about all that external shit. And if it gets too much, stop doing it. You know what I mean? Just, if it's going to hurt too much, step aside, let someone else do it, have a break, have a breather. So, yeah, I'm very lucky that the course of my life has brought me involved with such good people, like male and female. Like it's, you know, it doesn't matter what, you know, where you come from, who you are, what you like, as long as you're a good person, then I'm down. I'll be your friend. And that's what, you know, I wish everybody could have, because not everyone can have that, sadly.
I want to ask, bro, I know I'm already going to love your answer, and even for me being like a 20-year-old bro, even for my group of mates, especially the boys, it's still frowned upon, you know, and it's still not said enough. But how important do you feel telling your brothers that you love them? How important do you think it is, bro?
Oh, you have to do it.
Yeah, bro.
I mean, I tell people I love them every day. And I don't care if people go, like, mate, I don't give a shit what you think.
Yeah, bro.
I love my friends. I love my family. I love my brothers. I love my kids. And I say that to people. We had a guy at work. I've worked with him for the last 20 years. All of a sudden on Friday, he retired. Not retired, resigned, sorry. I was heartbroken. I was just like, bro, like, I'm going to miss you, man, because I love you. And he sort of looked at me, you know, because this guy's like 56, 57,
So he's
Māori
like,
fella.
Yeah.
He's in that generation.
Yeah,
he's
bro.
like, hey.
Yep.
And I said, I love you, mate. And he's like, I said, dude, we've worked together every day for 20 years, mate.
Yep.
We talk to each other. I know your family. I know your kids. I know your story. I know your son. You know my family. You know my kids. You know, I'm going to miss you, and I love you, and I want you to know that. And I gave him a hug, and he's just like, hugged me back, and he's just like, he sort of looked around, and he goes, oh, I love you too, man. And I was like, you can say it to me. It's all right. You can look me in the eye and say it. It's okay, bro.
Yeah.
And he's just like, no, all right, yeah, no, I love you, Kai. Cheer, bro. And I was like, sweet as. You're shot. I said, don't think you're getting out of here without buying some beers, buddy. All right? Now get down the wholesalers, grab a does. So yeah, it's just so important because you do. You know what I mean? And you don't want to just not say it because it's, oh, I don't want to look like soft and I don't want to look like somebody. I don't say I love you.
Yeah.
Mate, you do love your friends. And it's absolutely nothing wrong with saying it. You know? The only person I don't really say it too much is my brother. I don't remember the last time I told my brother I loved him.
Yeah.
But that's the way we and him are, you know. We're not.
Yeah.
Our family's not a real huggy, like, you know, like that. Like we'll hug each other once at New Year's, or like if we win something, maybe. Like we'd be like, yeah, we're super excited. But it's just known. It's known. We don't have to say it because we know.
Yep.
You know. Yep. But then I guess I overcompensate with my other mates, and I just be like, oh man, catch you later, love you, bro.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, like I had a 40th, we took the day off a few weeks ago, me and my best dad, we had a 40 years of friendship day. Yep. And we drove around, and that was when the slip was happening down the road, and there were some cops had like pulled him over because he's Māori and he was driving an Evo 10, and it's like, you're like, oh, this looks suspicious.
I've seen it drive.
So yeah, on scenic drive, you know, this is where the white folk live, mate. And the cops rolled out, and then and as I'm like jumping in the car to leave, and the cops, he goes, happy anniversary, mate. I'm like, what the hell do you watch? And I was actually looked over, and I was like, is that you, Pen? I was like, I had to stop because his nickname's the Penetrator.
Yeah.
Probably can guess why. And I was like, oh, hey, Sean, how you going? Good. And so, you know, went over and had a big man hug with him, which is really hard because if you ever hugged a cop, really hard. Because they got the big stab vest on and they got all that stuff. And this guy's like 6'7" as well. He's a big man. And I'm just like trying to hug him. And the bro's like, the hell? And I'm like, yeah, bro, I've known him. I grew up like idolizing that guy. You know, and he's just like, what are you doing? I said, oh, that's my best mate, you know, we're going out the day. And he's like, oh, that's so cool, man. It's like, I wish I had that. I haven't been friends with anyone that long, and, you know, I wish I had that kind of bond. And I was just like, yeah, I'm very lucky. Yeah. Very lucky. So, yeah, make sure you just say it.
Yeah, bro.
It's not going to, you know, who cares?
And I want to build on that and saying that, you know, a lot of people, unfortunately, don't have that feeling with their family. Like you said, bro, you know, you and a family aren't the huggy type, you and your brother don't say it, but it's because you guys know you love each other. Yeah. You know, a lot of people unfortunately don't have that feeling with their family. So I try to say it to, I even say it to the bros that I haven't seen since like year 10. Yeah. You know, even if it's a 5-minute chat, you know, love you, bro, look after yourself. Yeah. A lot of people don't know that feeling of someone loving them or someone being there for them on that deep level. Yeah. And you might not know, but saying those 3 words, that might save them from the battles they're having themselves at that time, bro.
Yeah, and that's huge, man. Like if you can tell one person you love them, and that stops them from feeling a certain way or potentially doing something stupid by going, oh fuck, I'm loved.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
How good.
Yep.
This feels good. All right, cool. I'm gonna go and tell my mate that I love him, and I'm gonna go, you know, and then it sort of spins it off and it passes it down, and people just, you know, go, okay, sweet, and it's a chain reaction, which is what we want, and that's what we want it to be like. Is we want everyone to be like, yeah, man, I love my mates. That's what I love them. I'm not shy about it. I'm not gonna hide from saying it, and I'm not, and I'm proud of it. And because I'm proud that I can say to my mates, I love you. Yeah, bro. You know, because I want everyone to feel that loved, because they need to know that. Because not, as you said, people don't know that they feel loved. Yeah, and you are. And it might be, you might be loved by one person, you might be loved by 100 people. It doesn't matter, as long as you're loved and you, in turn, love other people. You know, what's better than that, really?
Yeah, agreed, bro. Now, I want to rewind to a point you said before, man. How, there's been a lot of negatives, but you try your best to focus on the positives.
Yeah.
How do you do that, bro? Because that's a really hard thing to do. A lot of the time is, there's a term in football, and it's like, there could be a goalkeeper who plays for 20 years and he's one of the best in the world, but all that people are going to remember him for is the one goal he let in. So how do you not focus on that negative?
Yeah, shit, I don't know. For me, I'm always a person that's really, really up. Like I'm always very positive. I'm always very confident in what I do. Sadly, that comes across sometimes as being arrogant, because confidence and arrogance are very close together. So I'm very confident in who I am, and this is an age thing. I'm very lucky that I've learnt who I am, and I learnt what I'm good at and what I'm not good at. So if I get to a point where I'm like, okay, something negative's happened, all right, but I've learnt this from it. I've grown from it in a certain way, and I can make that negative into a positive. And sometimes it's harder than in other times. Sometimes it's really easy, but it's it's hard to put into words, but it's just something that you can't dwell on those negative things because it just eats you up inside. It literally eats you up inside, and that's just self-destructive, and that's not a good way to be. So it's finding that silver lining. It's finding what in the situation, what the good thing is to focus on. And it comes easy for some people and not so easy for other people. So once again, having that good group of friends around you is really, really helpful, because you can say to them, oh, hey man, like for example, with rugby, I'm a real confidence player.
Yep.
So if I miss a tackle or something, I'll be the hardest on myself. And I'm like, all right, sweet. And even though the boys will give me shit, they'll be like, yeah, but what about that run, bro? What about that pass? Stuff like that. So it's I wish I could say it better, but I don't really have the vocab to say it. But not dwelling on stuff.
Yeah.
Trying to just go, all right, yeah, there was one negative thing, but there was 5 positive things. So, and I'm a bit of a debriefer. In my head, I'll have a debrief, and I'll be like, okay, that was bad, but that was good, that was good, that was good, sweet, cool, all right, we're good. But the only thing about being like that is when you're really high like I am, and I'm always like up and like happy and stoked, I'll have days where I'm just low, man.
Yep.
And now I'm real lucky because I got my 2 boys, and we just be like, get home, and when they run up to you and they're just stoked to see you, straight back up.
Yeah.
Straight back up. And not everyone has that, but you can find things, you know what I mean? Even if it's just, say, calling your mate, oh man, I'm so low today. And they're like, oh man, but you've got this and you've got that. And you're like, oh, true, yeah, I do. Thanks, bro. Appreciate it. Love you.
Yep.
So, yeah, just find that little line. Find the thing that makes you stoked about what you're doing. Because... and it's easier said than done for a lot of people, but with time and just remembering that you can get to where you want to be, you just have to keep charging and you have to keep pushing and keep trying. So yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, but
no, it does. yeah. Now that your boys are getting older, bro, what are some key morals and lessons that you want to teach them as they get older, especially as young males?
Oh man, be respectful. Be respectful of everybody. I don't care where you come from. I don't care who you're sleeping with. I don't care what you do. As long as you're a good person and you're not trying to hurt other people, apart from, I guess, if you're a UFC fighter or something, then that's okay, because that's the whole point of it. But just be respectful. Like, be respectful and just be courteous to people and show understanding. Like, there's so much negative shit in the world. Like, if you let it dwell on how much negative shit this world has, it'll just eat you alive. And I want my boys to know that if you're respectful to people and you're kind and you're loving and you treat others, the way you want to be treated, then you'll have a good life, and just base yourself with good people, because that's like, support is what we all need. We all need it, and however we can find it, that's what we need to cling on to. Try not to dwell, all that kind of stuff. And I just want my boys to know that they will always be loved. They will always have a home. They will always have people that love them. And no matter how much they infuriate me, especially my 2-year-old at the moment, he is just whoo-hoo-wee. But I make sure that every single night, the last thing they hear me say to them is, I love you. And that Daddy will always be here for you. So if I leave this world and they're respectful, good, happy, helping humans, then I'm stoked. Because that's what I want for them, and that's what I want for everyone, basically.
Yep. If there's one message, bro, you could I'd like to call it your final message. If there was one thing you could put out there, or something you've wanted to put out into the world that, it feels like a montage of Kylan Dray that was the finale. What would it be, bro?
Oh, man.
I guess the best way you can look at it is when you were going through your challenging times when you're younger, or some challenging moments, that something you wish you knew, or look back on later and went, oh shit, I'll do this next time.
Tomorrow's a new day. You might feel like absolute shit today, but tomorrow's a new day. No matter what you're going through, no matter how much it sucks, good feed, good sleep, wake up, start again. Someone actually said to me yesterday, I was in that group chat that I was discussing earlier, don't quit today, quit tomorrow. Then when you get to tomorrow, say it again. Then when you get to the next day, say it again. Then you find after a while, you don't want to quit. You just keep going. You just keep on pushing through, because everything will get better in the end. Like I work 40 hours a week. I pay my mortgage, pay some bills and that. Then maybe I'm lucky to have $100 in my pocket. But I'm still stoked, man. Part of that's because I'm a minimalist, and I don't need shit to keep me happy. I'm very lucky like that. All I need is good friends, good family, and just to know that tomorrow's a new day, and that I'm going to push through, and I'm going to do what I need to do to get to that day. And if I can make people laugh along the way, stoked. Because, man, there's fucking nothing better than laughter, man. Honestly, just sitting around with your mates and just giggling about stupid shit. Oh my God, someone farted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's awesome. It's childish as hell, but I don't care. It's funny, man. Like, just laugh, because, as I said earlier, there's so much negative shit. You turn the news on, man, and all you see is negative fucking shit. But if you can find a way to make yourself or other people laugh, sweet, man. And that's literally, like, I think that's my life motto. Make one person laugh a day. That's cool. I'm stoked if that's the way. I'm happy as Larry if that's happening. Sometimes I go too far. And I offend people, which I'm sorry for. But when you talk to me in person, you know that I'm just an idiot and I'm just having a laugh, mate. You know what I mean? And I offend people all the time online. Like online, I'm just, oh my God. Because people can't read tone. They can't read sarcasm.
That's why I hate texting, bro.
Oh,
I'd rather just be in person.
Yeah. Because you can have a discussion with someone over text and it can just come across so bad. But then you see them in real life and they're like, and you have the same exact conversation and they can see that little, that little look in your eye, that little wry smile.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, ooh, you cheeky shit. So, yeah, I mean, that's what I want to do. I just want to make people laugh, and I want people to be happy, and I want people to feel loved. And if there's a way that I can do that, cool. And if I can't do it, then I can put them onto somebody who can. Because not everyone likes my just sense of humour. Sometimes, they're just like, this guy's just too much.
But then flip it on the other side, bro. There's a lot of people that do.
Yep. Yeah.
And there is.
Yep. No, I get some laughs. I've done a few MC gigs and people tend to laugh at me, but yeah. That's cool. I'm happy with that, you know.
Yeah.
If that's what I'm remembered as, you know, a good lifeguard and a funny guy, I'm cool, man.
Yeah.
You know, he's not, you know, he's not rich. He doesn't have fancy cars. He doesn't have any of that stuff. Doesn't bother me. I know that's what some people want, and cool, man. Good. I hope that makes them happy. But for me, man, if I've got, you know, a couple of beers and some good mates, I'm pretty stoked, really. You know, I can't really ask for more than that. Maybe some nice barrels every now and then and some good waves. That'd be cool, but sort of, you know, I mean, I'm good. I get to come home today to a wife that loves me most of the time. Most of the time. You know, we're not perfect, and, you know, I don't think we ever will be, but we're still giving it a red hot crack.
Yeah, bro. And
we, you know, we're very in sync about making sure that our kids are loved, you know, and I'm very keen on all my friends knowing that they are loved. You know, I've had some rough times with some of the boys lately. They've been having some rough times, and, you know, the things I've said to them in the same thing is like, do you know how gutted I would be if you weren't here? Do you know how gutted your family would be if you weren't here? Like, you are so loved. You've got so much to offer this world, and you've got so much to offer these people that you need to remember that. And, you know, don't ever think that the world is a better place without you in it, because it's not. Because I don't associate with dicks.
Yeah.
And I love being with you because you're a good person. So just remember that I've got your back, and whatever you need, unless it's like $100, because I don't have it, but whatever else I can give you, I'll give you my time, I'll give you the shirt off my back, I'll give you whatever I can to make sure that you feel loved and that you know that we're here for you and stuff like that. And unfortunately, once again, people don't have that support, and that's when they get into that dark place. And they're like, man, it'd be so much better if I wasn't here. But it never is. It never is, man. There's always someone that loves you. I think. I think. Unless you're like a serial killer or something like that. Maybe you should go, alright? But yeah.
That's good, bro. That was a wicked way to finish it up. So, thank you, bro. Thank you.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you for the universe as well for finally
giving us the
where we can
time
both be free,
to get
bro, and sort it
together.
out.
Yeah.
This has been since I started it, bro. Legit, a couple years, and the world's gone haywire, and we haven't been able to sit down and chat. So it's been good that we finally be able to get it done, bro.
But what I haven't had a chance to say, because I've been letting you lead this, because this is your thing, is how are you doing?
Oh gosh.
Hey man, it's turning back on you, pal. All right, you don't get to get away with this scot-free. How are you doing, my bro?
Let's just say the past couple of weeks I've been bloody good at creating masks.
Right.
I guess there's been a lot of convincing for myself that. Oh, wow, bro. You got me there, bro.
Yeah. I knew I was going to.
There's been a lot of convincing for myself that I'm good, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Because you are. You're fucking amazing, bro. Look at how many people you've helped. What number episode is this?
70, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw my old man last weekend.
Yep.
You know, there's a lot of people who know it's not been the most beautiful journey with us.
I know that story. I know that story well. Which is why we have something in common.
Yeah, bro.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is why I've always had a soft spot for you, and I've always made sure that you're okay, and that I've always watched your journey. Because we have that in common.
Yep. That
not knowing about the father thing, right? But you've helped so many people, bro. You know what I mean? And people will say, there'll be haters, dickheads that will be like, oh, he's just trying to be famous. He just wants to be famous. No. I know for a fact that you are a genuinely fucking good person, and that you are here on this world to help people, just like me. Not so much in the physical aspect of like saving lives, but doing this, changing that stigma, making sure young people can realize that it's okay to not be okay. You know what I mean? And that's why I asked, and that's why I waited till the end. because I wanted to tell my shit, and then I wanted to turn it back on. I wanted to ask you, you know, because I want you to know that, fuck, dude, you're such a good kid. Like, you're so much better than I was at 20. You know what I mean? Yes, I was a surf lifeguard, but I didn't work for like 15, 20 years. I just bludged. I bounced around houses, stayed at flats until I got kicked out. Literally was homeless when I was like 23. I was living at the surf club because no one else would take me because I wouldn't work, I wouldn't do anything. And look at you, you're 20 years old and you're literally saving lives. So when you get to a point where you're like, oh man, I'm not doing good, just remember that. Remember how many people you've saved. Remember how good you are at talking to people and getting people your age to talk to you. Because that's huge, bro. You know? And that's why I should legitimately love you and think you're one of the coolest 20-year-olds I've ever fucking known. Because the effort you go to make sure that people know that it's cool, man. Like, talk, say things. And so I just want you to remember that even though you're always trying to help people, you need to help yourself as well, bro. Because I know what it's like to be 20. I don't know what it's like to be 20 in this day and age. Social media, all that shit. You know what I mean? So I don't know what it's like to be a 20-year-old at this age, but I know that 20, you still don't know who you are. You still don't know what you're going to be. You don't know if you're doing the right thing. But trust me, as a 45-year-old man who has been a shit ass a lot of his life, but now is doing it pretty good, I just look at you and I'm like, man, I wish I was half as switched on as that kid at my age, at that age. Because I think I don't regret my life because it's put me where I am now, and I'm stoked where I am now. But I just think maybe I wouldn't have pissed so many people off, and I wouldn't have been such a dickhead for so long. But just keep charging, bro, because you're doing so good, you know. And when you're down, fuck, you've got my number. Call me. I'll be there in a heartbeat, mate, because I got your back for life, and I just want you to keep helping, because people need help 24/7. And I'm so proud of you, and I'm so proud of the man you've become. And I know my brother is, and I know a lot of the boys from the surf club, a lot of the girls from the surf club. No one has got a bad word to say about you. No one. You know, keep doing it, man, because I fucking love you. We all love you, all right? And if you're feeling shit, there's always a tomorrow, all right? But I love you, bro. Love you deep inside, all right? You're like family to me. I can't give you any money, so don't ever ask.
Not $100.
Yeah. Oh, I got so we're gonna wrap this up. Nah.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it made me definitely seeing the old man made me realize that, you know, in the end, like you said, bro, everything does get better, and it was a huge, I guess you could say, huge turning point.
Yep.
For myself, because yeah, like you know the story, bro, with everything, and
Yep.
it was a lot of the years. It felt like, I guess you could say, I was the responsible one in the relationship.
Yep.
So seeing him and actually spending time with just myself and him, like my partner said, you know, babe, do you want me to come? And I said, actually, I think I just want to go.
Yeah.
By myself.
Yeah, man.
And sitting down with him for, I think it was 5 hours, just waffling.
Yeah.
You know, so even though it was waffling, it was, you know, we were still connecting again, and it was a real self-healing moment. And because I've just left my full-time job to try and pursue what I want to do, and that was playing on my mind a lot. And, you know, is it the right thing to do? And
it was so
all that,
rad, bro.
all that, yeah, like you said, bro. You know, being 20, you know, am I doing the right thing? And being able to talk to him and see that he was in a good spot.
Yeah.
And it made me realize that even though, from my perspective, I thought he did a lot of bad, it was just really me, I guess you'd say, caring for him on a deeper level. And it made me realize that when we sat down and he was in a good spot, I was like, shit, you know, this whole time I felt like I've hold such a grudge against him for what he's done and his choices, but really it was me just really caring for him without realizing.
Yeah.
And I guess you could say wishing that things were different.
Yeah.
But now doing what I'm doing and being able to, you know, be open with my mates and be an expressive 20-year-old, no matter how many people think it's stupid and whatever, it's made me realize that fuck, I'm actually grateful for everything that happened. Like at the time it was shit, and I was like,
100%,
wanted
man.
to take my life, and why, being told that I was a mistake, and wondering why I was still here. Like what does the universe have for, I'm not a religious guy, but what does the world have for me? Why is it doing this to me? That sort of mindset. Then realizing, fuck, it was meant to happen. 12 years of waiting to actually have a relationship with my dad, now being 20 and going there on my free will and being like, okay, I'm going to go there open-minded.
Yeah.
And realize, shit, it was worth staying around.
Yeah.
I would have left the world with having those what-ifs with my dad, and I pushed through it, and I got to the not what-ifs, but it did.
Yep.
And that just helped a lot of my world. But even after seeing him, there was still... it's still so ingrained, everything that happened, but still seeing him, it almost, it sounds cheesy, but it made me relive those moments and allowed me to shut the door on those moments.
And that's what they call closure, right?
It is exactly what it was, bro. It was the closure that I didn't realize I needed.
Yeah.
Because I've been so against seeing him.
Yep.
So against seeing him for the reason of just
feeling that way,
bro.
Yeah.
But seeing him by myself and with no one else there, I got that closure I needed.
Yeah.
And I feel like I can, make it, even though it's real late in my life now, but make that relationship that I wish I had with him when I was younger.
Well, that's the ironic part of it, that it's closure, but you're also opening a new door.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you've got your closure with what's happened there, and now it's like, okay, cool. I'm opening a new chapter. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's get there. Let's sort it out.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, look, like my wife has said to me many times, do you want me to track down your dad? And I'm like, no, that's cool. I don't need to know.
Yep.
I seen him when I was 15. I sort of got a good idea of who he is, and he made his choices. And I'm confident enough in myself to say that he's the one missing out by not having a relationship with me.
Yep.
Because I'm fucking fun to be around, man.
Yep.
And that's what everyone will tell you. It's a good time to be around Kai.
Yeah.
And I'm stoked on that.
It's Kai time.
Yeah, man. So, yeah, I've always had that bond with you in the way that, that with the dad thing, whereas, it's finding that level of comfort to be like, okay, I have moved past that part, and now let's move forward together. And we may never be very, very close, but we'll always be in each other's lives.
Yep.
And we'll always know that, deep down there is love there, because at the end of the day with my father, he made me.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I will love him for that. I will always hate him for leaving my mother, because my mother is awesome, and I hate him for leaving her.
Yep.
I'm okay with him leaving me because it worked out really well.
Yep.
Because my stepfather is responsible for pushing me to become a swimmer, pushing me to become a swimmer lifeguard, and then everything that's gone good from that has come from him doing it. So, my biological father, he's doing his thing. That's cool. Live your life. I hope you're happy, but I don't need to know you.
Yeah.
Different for you, and that's why I just want you to always remember that, you're such a good kid, man, because far out, the way you just can make people speak to you. Like, I'll watch your podcast, and the way people talk to you is like they're talking to an old friend.
Yep.
It's crazy. You're 20 years old, man. Like, how are you that switched on at 20? All I wanted to do was smoke weed, drink piss, and make love to beautiful women. A lot of the time they weren't beautiful, but I'm not beautiful, so it doesn't matter. So, just remember, man, like, we got your back, and we love you so much, and everyone loves you so much, because you are such a lovable guy. You know what I mean? I know your missus is probably sitting here thinking, Kai, you're almost flirting with him. Which I am.
She's not here.
But yeah, man, I just wanted to make sure that, you're doing good, because sometimes the person that's trying to help actually needs help themselves. So that's just why I asked.
Thank you for asking that.
Yeah,
I needed that, bro.
Yeah, bro.
I needed that,
Yeah.
bro.
I knew I was going to put you on the spot, but fuck it.
I put you on the spot for a past elbow. That's all right. Jeez.
Yeah, cheer, brother.
And that's a good philosophy, bro. Even starting this, man, in high school, like I had. I'm not going to name drop them, but I had people from Liston who were making pages. Good old Liston College making pages to take the piss out of what I was doing. You know, I actually saw a couple of those people end of last year at a drinks at a mate's house, and you know, he came up to me in the past 3 years that I've seen this guy. Whenever I'd seen him, you know, he tried to ding my car up or start some shit. Or we were into a festival in Raglan.
What's his name and where does he live?
It's funny, his name's Jack as well.
Don't worry, I know a guy.
Yeah, we're at a festival in Raglan at start of 2021, and he was just making up all this stuff, and I was like, okay, yeah, and I look at those things in a real positive mindset now, saying, you know, when stuff like that happens, it actually shows you who your real friends are.
Yeah, man.
So on top of that, I was dealing with all the stuff he was making up, but on top of that, I was realizing who my true mates were. So you know, time passed, blah blah blah. I didn't see him that much, and I saw him at the strength. And the tables had turned, you know, all these people he were friends with who were taking the piss out of me with him, you know, they weren't mates with him anymore, and they would come up to me like, oh, what's up, Hendos, blah, blah. He comes up to me, he goes, oh, you know, I just wanted to, you know, say, you know, it's really good what you're doing. I said to him, oh, yeah. I was like, cheers, mate, but do you remember what you did in high school? He goes, oh, what do you mean? I said, do you not remember the countless times, you know, you made accounts take the piss out of me? I was like, you're actually the reason why I wanted to quit it all. You know, there was a lot of dark times because you making fun out of me when I was trying to help people. Yeah. He didn't want to, you could see he knew that he did it, he didn't want to own up to it. So he goes, oh yeah, you know, I just wanted to say sorry to you, blah, blah. And I'll be honest, I should have been the big man and be like, yeah, it's okay, bro. But I was like, nah.
Fair enough, bro.
I was like, nah, bro, you put me through some dark times, you know, I was just trying to help people. And I said, to be honest, Jack, it's funny because it made me realise the people who take the piss out of you the most are the people who need the most help. You know, and that got him. Yeah, man. And it was funny because a half an hour later, he was leaving and my mates were like, oh, did you used to bully Hendo? And he's like, yeah. And he goes, why'd you do that? And he goes, oh, I don't know, bro. Yeah. He goes, I'm sorry, though. And it made me realise, it goes, you know, people do change. Do change. Yeah. But it's true, you know, a lot of people who are trying to take you down or trying to, you know, make you stop what you're doing, stop believing in yourself, they're actually the people who either one want to be your friend the most, you know, connect with you and you know, be able to see things from your point of view, or just want some attention or some help. Yeah. And it's so easy to think of the mindset I was in when I was in high school, being like, oh, you know, fall for the trap and be like, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. Oh, maybe they're right. Yes. Or be a bit cool in the moment like I was and be like, nah, bro, you're like, piss off, you know, I don't accept your apology. But then it makes you realise that legit these people who put so much time and effort into trying to bring you down are legit the people who need the most help at the end of the day. Yeah, man, that's bang on, and that took me a long time to realise. Yeah, because I was never really bullied per se, but there was times, especially back in my swimming days, because and I'm only like, you know, I've got enough mouldy in me to have a little bit of dark skin and probably claim some land up north. But when I was swimming, I was one of the darkest kids around. Yeah, and I used to get called a nigger all the time. Like, straight up. There's this one kid, and he would always kept on the daily, every competition. He goes, oh, there's that nigger again. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yep. And I'm like, what? Yep. Like, I don't even know what to do. And then one day I snapped, and I had it by a chokehold up against the wall. And everyone knows I don't fight. Everyone knows I don't fight. That's not me. But I just got to the point where I had him up against the wall. All these people come round. They're like, oh, what's going on? Rah, rah. Straight away took his side. And I'm just like, this guy has been calling me a nigger. He's been telling me I'm a black piece of shit. Yep. He's telling me I don't belong here. And I'm just like, cuz, the most frustrating thing about it, I couldn't beat him in a race. I wanted to beat him in a race so bad, but the kid was so fast. Oh, it grated me. I think it took me like 10 years, like pretty much to the end of my swimming career, and he was still swimming, and I beat him once. And he came up to shake my hand, and I like pushed him in the pool or something or other like that. I was just like, get out of it, man. But yeah, I think that was the closest thing I've ever had to being bullied or anything like that. And the feeling of that is just terrible. So I don't think I ever bullied anyone. I don't really recall. I remember defending people that were being bullied by bullies.
and saying, what are you doing? Piss off, rah, rah, rah. But being a pacifist and being someone that hates violence and hates people being hurt, I always had to use words or just use my size to say, you guys, you're being a dick, stop. And as you said, hit it bang on the head. Those people are the people that need the most help, because there's obviously something that they don't feel good about, which is creating that way, and their outlet to them is to put it onto other people. And I've heard so many stories lately about teenage girls that just get relentlessly bullied, and you know that those girls doing the bullying are the ones with the low self-esteem that hate something about themselves, and they're unleashing like that. So if you're being bullied by somebody, chances are that person's in a worse off way than you. So whilst it does feel good to get your closure later on in life and be like, you were a dick, they probably know it deep inside. So yeah, it's a weird old world. So yeah, I'm just so proud of people like yourself that are out there willing to make themselves be vulnerable, and willing to make themselves, just not look soft, but be soft.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing wrong with it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because people look at me and they go, oh, he's a big rugby player and he plays tattoos and he's a Westie and he drinks beer and all this kind of shit. And then they know me and they're like, shit, man, you're nothing like what I thought you were just by looking at you. Yeah. And I'm like, I get that all the time. I said, don't worry. Like, I even got an old one of my friend's mums that I hadn't spoken to for years added me on Facebook a couple of days ago. And I had made a post on International Women's Day, which is very important to me because women are so crucial in our lives. And she goes, it's good to see that you're still just a big old softie. And I was just like, shh, don't tell anybody. Trying to maintain an image here, right? But yeah, man, it's crazy. It's just a crazy world. So the fact that anybody like yourself's doing good on it is all right by me.
That's another good point, bro. Stand your ground. It's funny the story you said that, because I had a similar one when I was year 5, and still to this day. How old was I then? 6, 7, 8, 9. So I was like 7 or 8.
Oh yeah, sweet, yeah.
And still to this day, it's the only person I've ever punched. I'm not a fighter as well, bro. The first person I've ever punched, and I'll take it. It was the first one I've ever punched and dropped.
Yeah. Take that.
It was exactly the same reason why you did what you did, bro. We were playing. I think it was Turbo on the field at lunchtime, and my Māori mate, his name was Cody. Funnily enough, Cody with the long mullet. He scored, and he ran past this guy who funnily enough as well is not doing that well in life. He ran past him and scored, and he goes, oh, you can run for it. Drop the M-bomb.
Yeah.
I said, what? He goes, oh yeah, your inmate can run pretty fast. I said, what? And he was a school bully. He was actually one of the guys who bullied me for my whole schooling life. And this is a 6-year-old, bro. 6-year-old saying stuff. Oh. And I remember he came up to me and he pushed me, because at the time I was the tubby kid and he was one of my bullies at the time. So I had all this built up rage already.
You were cute as hell, though. You were cute as hell, though, I gotta say. Sorry. I just want to put that out there. Oh my God, you're such a cute kid.
And he pushed me, and I just remember, boom.
Yeah.
And he goes on the ground. And the exact same thing happened as well, bro. All these, why'd you do that? Why'd you hit him? And I got in trouble for it. I got in trouble for it.
Yeah.
And I remember Mum came in, and she was already coming in a lot because the teachers weren't putting any action for everything that I was getting at that age, and all the bullying.
Pity those teachers.
Yeah.
Man.
And it was funny you said that, because that's one of my core memories when I was younger. It was doing something for someone else and protecting someone else and still getting shit for it.
Yep.
And that's, growing up, I made me realize, just stand your ground.
Yep.
If you know something's true,
yeah, and
either it's going to help someone,
yeah,
it might put you in harm's way, but if you're helping someone, just stand your ground.
Yeah.
You're going to get shit for it. People won't agree with you, but if you're helping someone, or you're making someone's life better, or making your own life better from doing good, not doing bad things to make your life better, but doing good things to make your life good.
Yeah, man.
And people
positive outlet.
Yeah, bro. If people give you shit for it, who cares? Stand your ground.
Yeah.
Makes you a better person, makes them a better person. Stand your ground and just keep doing it. Keep doing you.
Yeah.
And it just completely, it's a perfect segue back into what we said is the people who tend to bring you down the most are the people who tend to need the most help.
Yep. And
So-
at the time, it's hard to understand that, but you know, you will get your closure, and later in life, and you will realize that, okay, yeah, sweet, I get it. I see why they were being like that.
Yep.
And I forgive them.
Yep.
Because you don't want to live with that hate in your heart. You don't want to live with, oh, I hate that guy because he does this or that. You know, there's a guy in our rugby team. He hadn't spoken to me for over a decade. Hates me.
Yep.
Couldn't care less. Because he's living with that shit in his heart. I don't live with that in my heart. I've got no hate towards anyone, apart from, you know, murderers and pedophiles and shit like that, because they deserve it, because they're fucking horrible people. But, you know, I'm not going to live my life like that, and I don't want my kids to go somewhere and see me squaring off with some guy or not talking to someone because of some petty bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just want to live with love, and I want to live with good people, and I want to enjoy my life.
Yep.
So it's sad that people choose to live like that, but you know, hopefully one day they'll move past whatever shit they've got in them stuff, and they'll just live with a clear heart and a good heart, and just, you know,
Start living life.
start living life.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for the episode, bro. Love
Ma,
you,
bro.
man.
Love you too, man.
Thank you for this,
Thank you
bro.
so much for having me.
Yeah.
This is rad.
I hope you've enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, it's good, man.
Yeah.
It's good. It's just good to spend time with you, because you're a young dude, you're busy, and I'm an old dude with a family.
I
Not that old,
think
dude.
about this, bro. When you were my age, think how young I was, bro. And now I'm the age you were when I was little.
We've still got to recreate that photo.
Yes.
The one on the quad with my wife on the back.
Yeah. Yeah.
We won't need one of those two-seater quads because we're a bit bigger now, but we've got to recreate that because I reckon that'd be hilarious.
100%, bro.
Yeah. Have you seen this, by the way?
Oh. That's perfect time for the Mullet Matters.
Yeah,
there's a fundraising moment, bro, called the Mullet Matters.
Oh, really?
So
Yeah.
that's fucking feisty mullet,
It
mate.
is, bro. It's filthy. I just washed it, actually. It's the only haircut I can really do these days because the front of it, the old peninsula's getting a bit bare. But yeah, man. No, thanks for having me, bro. And I wish you all the success in the world, man. And I personally think that you're only going to go up.
Thank you, bro.
And I think you're just going to keep going up and up and up. And there is no roof for you. I think you're just going to just blow the ceiling off everywhere you go because you're a fucking good kid, and at 20 years old, you're already a legend. And people throw the word legend around a lot. They're like, oh, that guy's a legend because he can do this, he can do that. But you truly are a legend for the work that you put in and the help that you give people and the effort and the compassion and the empathy that you give to people, because I can feel it. I can literally feel the energy that you give off, and it's such a good energy because I'm an energy vampire. I just feed off that kind of shit, you know what I mean? Like, I'm so inspired just by sitting here and talking to you, and I'm like, I can't wait to get back onto the beach. I can't wait to start, doing something like this for a bit of fun for myself, and just, getting back that feeling that you get from helping people, because there's nothing better. There's nothing better than saving a life. There's nothing better than knowing that someone feels better for having just a 10-minute discussion with you. And that's what people get when they talk to you, is just they feel better, and it's an enjoyable time. Even talking about heavy shit, talking about dark stuff, it's still enjoyable because you're getting it out and you're talking about it and you're making it normal, because it has to be normal. Because Kiwi men, man, some of us are just dicks,
Tight ass.
and we won't say it, and especially that generation above mine. Oh my God.
Yep.
Oh, I'm not going to say that. Oh, you bloody gay people.
You better not be crying.
Yeah, what are you crying for?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, you're damn right I am. I'm crying because I'm sad. I'm crying because I'm happy. So just keep charging, bro, because we all think you're just such a good dude, and you always will be.
Thank you, bro.
No worries. All right, let's wrap this up. Let's wrap this up and go cuddle.
Babe, I'll be home late.
Yeah, we will. All right, that's a wrap.
Thank you guys for tuning into this episode of Hendo's Old Topics. I hope you can see me. There's always an issue with HHT and the camera's died. It's typical. But thank you for tuning in. And as always, love yourself. Do what makes you happy. Do what you know is right, and do what you need to do for you. I'll see you next week. See you later.